here today to talk about our new upcoming 8-topic series on new construction and the do's and don'ts. And this is Dan Hall with Preview Properties. I'm Nikki Camcho with Movement Mortgage. And we're just going to kind of go through some basics with new construction. So today we are going to focus on site registration. All right, so I'm buying a new house and I'm looking at new construction. What's the most important thing?
I think probably, Nikki, one of the most important things to do right away is to make sure you've got some buyer representation, somebody who's looking out for your best interest in this complicated process.
Okay. Now, when I walk into a new construction site, oftentimes there's already an agent there that's working, and they're representing it. Can I work with them, or is that in my best interest?
That's a good question. And yes, agents have several different hats they get to wear. One is representing the seller. So usually if there's a sign in front of the property and there's a name on that property, on that sign, that individual is representing the seller. So they're there to look out for the seller's best interest. Sometimes at new construction sites, you will have other people who are helping that agent, and they don't have a direct relationship contractually to the seller, so they can list themselves as a buyer's agent.
Okay, so they're there just helping assist them?
They're there to find clients to work with.
Okay.
And they are, they have some relationship with that listing agent. They might be from their office as well. But they're there to kind of help sort through the process of buying a house and buying a new construction house at that specific site with that specific seller and builder.
Okay, so it's good for me to find my own agent then to represent me before I go in.
I think there could be a lot of benefit for you or for a buyer in that situation. If you were the buyer, yes. By having someone who is representing you, your agent, you're going to sit down with them and you're going to tell them all of the things that are important to you. You're going to talk with them about all of your finances and all of your dreams and what you're looking for in a house, what you can afford, maybe what you want to pay versus what you can pay. And so you want somebody who's going to be keeping all of that in mind for you and looking out for your best interest and help manage a transaction and make sure nothing goes wonky that's going to affect you badly. And that you're going to close on time. There's a lot of stress in this process. So you really want somebody who is going to negotiate for you and manage the transaction on your behalf.
That is great information. What else do I need to know about site registration?
I think it's important to know, too, that if you, as an individual, walk onto a site, the agents are going to, whoever is at the site is going to want you to fill out information. They're going to ask you if, they may or may not ask you if you're currently working with someone. They may ask you to register that agent that you might have that is your agent who's representing you. And they're likely to ask you to fill out another form that's just going to tell them what your income is and what you're looking for in a house and how big your family is and all of the particulars that you possibly are looking for in a house. And there's going to be some language in there that says, hey, if an agent that's working with you doesn't come with you or you don't tell us about that agent, that person may not get paid in the transaction.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
Wow. Now, it's binding, though, correct? When you sign that document, are you bound to work with that agent?
So there are disclosure forms, there are registration forms that you sign at and fill out at the site that are informative information gathering for the agent there and ultimately for the seller, the builder. And it's often site specific. Even if that builder has several different sites, you have to register separately at each site. And there will be time limits to it. So if you come now and you're thinking about buying in 6 months and you maybe register and you come back in 6 months, well, that previous registration may be void. It may only last a couple of months. So you may have to update it every time you come to a new site.
Okay, good to know. And what else would you say I need to know going in to new construction? What's another?
Also part of the site registration may be some specifics about how the builder, the seller, wants an offer structured to them. There may be language that says, our price is our price. We're not going to negotiate on price. There may be language that says, we are offering some incentives, but you have to use our specific lender to get those incentives. There may be language that says how commissions are paid, which is important to know. And there is going to be restrictions on, I think the one that was really interesting, that when I was looking through some of the site registration forms, is often they will have a single page offer form. So you fill out this form, you tell them what you're willing to pay, and you give them all of the conditions, which is usually very simple. It's your name, their name, the price you're willing to pay, and the type of financing you need. And that's about it. And there's little language at the very bottom that says, okay, thank you, and if we choose to work with you, you have 2 days then to get us all of the regular paperwork to make a legal binding agreement. And by the way, if during that time frame we get another offer, we'll let you know if you want to match or beat our other offer. So by having that single page document, it really puts the seller in a strong position to know what you're willing to do and that you're very interested in our house. And boy, if we've got somebody else who might be interested, we're going to tell them about your offer so we can get more money.
Oh my goodness. So what would you suggest is the best thing to do in that situation? Do you fill out that one-page offer, or do you have your own agent that you're working with draft up a full contract and present that?
Yes to both.
Okay.
You go ahead and fill out the paperwork that makes the seller and the builder happy.
Okay.
And you include the full paperwork for an offer that includes things like financing contingencies, a possibility of having a home inspection, any issues that you want to make sure you can look at, any CC&Rs, which are rules to live in that neighborhood, a chance to review those and make sure you're comfortable with all of those terms. So my recommendation, when I'm representing a client, is that yes, we include everything, so that if the seller says, yes, we're willing to work with you, they sign that form right then and there, and the house is yours. You don't have to worry about somebody else coming in and bumping us up to a higher price.
Because that one page really isn't an offer. It's more of a statement to what you want to make an offer for.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, does that cover kind of the main site registration? Is there one more thing?
Oh, there's always more.
Oh, there's
but
always.
I think in this moment that's probably a good sampling of the things that a buyer should be aware of. So again, when you go to look at a brand new home, make sure you get some of the cards from whoever you're working with, so that when you talk to the agent that's on the site, you can say, here's the card, I'm working with John, although I'm Dan, if you're working with me, here's the card, and this is who is my representative, and I'm very interested in seeing your houses. And to do that and make sure that there's clarity, that you've got somebody in your corner looking out for your best interest and there to work on your behalf is important.
So stay tuned. We're going to be talking about our next series coming up here, and we'll give you a little bit of a brief overview of what that's going to look like when you tune into our next series.